Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in the previous episode we learned what is anti-pattern in general, and we dived deep into control freak anti-pattern with examples. So whenever you are creating components inside components, this is a clear sign that you are into control freak. So the way to opt out from that is to simply use initializer injection instead of creating the dependencies directly. So this video would be actually split into two parts because I don't want to keep you long watching 30-minute videos, so I will try to keep it short. So in the first part we would be discussing the example and some of the ways of eliminating control freak, and we would discuss some pros and cons of each. So in the first part we'll be discussing factories, and in the second part we'll be discussing DI containers or service locator in general. So here I have example for you, the profile view controller that loads avatar asynchronously from whatever source and the user data as well. Tapping on logout would show us the logout view controller. Tapping no would transition us back, and tapping on yes would simulate logout and show to us the initial view controller from which we can go actually back to profile view controller. Not trivial navigation, actually it's recursive. So let's see what kind of problems we have right now in code and how can we improve it. So profile view controller has a bunch of UI elements, and we create bundled avatar image loader and user loader. And then whenever we tap on a red button, we would actually transition into logout view controller by actually creating it and pushing it to the navigation stack. So if we go to the logout view controller, whenever we tap on logout, it would actually create a simulated logout service, which does just dispatch QMA and async after. Very simple. And whenever a callback comes back, we create an initial view controller and set the view controllers. In the initial view controller, whenever we tap on a button, we would create profile view controller and set it as initial view controller. Like we would replace the entire stack. So let's start with a profile view controller because it's the most complex among these three. And as we see here on line 51 and on line 56, we are creating loaders directly. So let's draw some diagrams to clearly see what we have. So let's start with the profile view controller. So profile view controller actually has a bunch of dependencies, right? So it handles bundled avatar image loader directly, and it has fake user loader. Okay, so it directly references this one and this one. Moreover, it also references a logout view controller. So there is a direct dependency coming from profile view controller to logout view controller. And yeah, we are actually creating dependencies directly, which is a control freak anti-pattern. But according to my experience, basically, I've seen that instead of using initializer injection, people would opt out for factories of any kind, whether it is static, concrete, or abstract. So let's examine this part as well. So instead of creating dependencies directly, let's encapsulate them into some other component that would give us the instances. So we can create enum profile view controller factory. Why an enum? Because we can't actually instantiate it. And let's grab our bundled avatar image loader. So let's create a static method on it, avatar image loader, and return us. And return not the bundled avatar image loader, but avatar image loader, so that we do not depend on concrete types directly, because right now we depend on bundled avatar image loader. However, the image loader actually conforms to an abstraction, which is just a protocol. And let's invert the dependency and depend on abstract types instead of concrete types. And then let's create a make user loader that would give us user loader, and let's return fake user loader for now. And the last one is to make logout VC, which would give us logout view controller. Okay, so instead of creating dependencies directly, let's use profile view controller factory and get our image loader. and use the factory to get the user loader as well, and use it to get the logout we see. Okay, so we've eliminated the need to create the dependencies directly, but has anything changed? So let's again go back to the diagram and see what's going on. So profile view controller depended on avatar image, bundled avatar image loader, which is a concrete type. However, it now depends only on an abstraction. So this is how we can change the diagram and reflect the changes actually in the diagram. So since it depends on abstract types, on protocols, on abstractions, it also now depends on profile VC factory, because it uses profile VC factory to take care of dependency management, like creation of them. And profile view controller has a reference to user loader and to avatar image loader as well, because it creates them. It actually has reference to both bundled avatar image loader and fake user loader, but let's omit them for the sake of keeping the diagram simpler. So yeah, as you can see, the problem became even worse, because at the beginning, profile view controller had only reference to 3 types, right? To logout view controller, user loader, and avatar image loader. But because we introduced a factory to create all of those dependencies, now we have 4 of them. So we actually worsened the design instead of improving it. So static factories do not improve the design because we are accessing them directly, and this is actually not the way to do it, because we are coupled with the factory, and any change in the factory would require to rebuild this file as well. So if I for instance would like to return some other type, I change the factory, but since factor has changed, it would require rebuilt in profile view controller file as well. So so since the method to get the instances is static, this is actually anti-pattern. So this is somewhat very close to service locator, but it isn't actual service locator right now, and we will discuss it in the part 2 of this video. So invoking static methods directly is actually problematic, because profile view controller still decides from where to invoke the methods. So to get rid of that, we should either use initializer injection to get whatever we need, or just inject a closure, right? That would give us the avatar image loader, which is like void to avatar image loader. But this is actually the same as passing the avatar image loader itself. So as you can see, static factory does not solve the problem, because it actually increases number of dependencies inside the component. So never opt for factories inside your view controllers, because instead of having 3 dependencies, we got 4 right now. So that will be it for the first part of this video, and let's go into the second part, which is the most interesting one.